chess friends, I hope you are doing well. Today, I am very excited to share a mind-blowing chess game where I master my chess openings and employ my chess opening tactics against Dragon Chess to defeat him and trap his queen in the opening. I will also share the opening preparations and trades that I used in this game, so, stay tuned until the end of the video, and let's get started without wasting any time. I started the game with e4, we have c5, initiating the Sicilian defense and knight to c6. Asserting control over the center. Here, black has many lines to consider with his pawns. We have b5, followed by knight to e4, attacking the pawn. Now, we have knight exchanges and castling. e6 follows in a game where black can play d5 and bishop to c5. A few moves later, we have f4 on the board, gaining control over these squares, and queen to g4 can also be possible to attack the pawn. The knight to e7 follows in the game, and we have queen to g4 attacking the pawn. Now, we have g6. This g6 move might seem suspicious to many chess players because it weakens the dark square diagonal, where bishop to g5 can become active. That's the reason why I decided to play f5, attacking the diagonal with full pressure. Here, some chess players, including 69ic, might consider short side castling. Let me show you the reason. Therefore, I can eventually play f6, gaining control over these squares, and as soon as the knight moves, queen to g5 will arrive, and checkmate will be inevitable. You will lose the game in the opening moves. So, going back to the reason, we discovered that playing short side castling would be a very bad choice. That's the reason why Dragon decided to capture the pawn on f5. Here, many chess players might consider capturing the pawn on f5 too, but that move is not very good because, in this position, you can see that black can actually play short side castling. You might be very shocked to see this move. Why the hell did black play short side castling? Because now I can push forward the pawn to f6, attacking the knight, and my queen is reaching the g7 square, making black completely vulnerable. Therefore, black actually has no fear of this idea. He will play knight to f5, protecting these squares. You are sharp and brilliant, but a dumb mind might think that the pawn is pinned, so I can capture the knight on f5 because the pawn is pinned down to the king. But hold on, here, black will play a marvelous move, and that move is pawn to d5, pinning down the rook. And he will also capture the pawn on f6. That's not a very cool idea, and my position will become very vulnerable because I will have nothing to do in this position. So, let me share an inspirational quote in sudden with you. Never regret a day in your life. Good days give happiness, bad days give experience, the worst days give lessons, and the best days give memories. So, going back to the reason, we discovered that capturing the pawn on f5 would be a mistake. Therefore, after the queen moves, the queen goes to b6. A few moves later, you can see that black is pushing forward his h-pawn all the way to h4, eventually attacking my bishop on a4. Should I move the bishop back? No, because black can actually play h3. So, here we have b4 and a capture. I sacrifice the pawn and play rook to b1 as I think about that bishop. Many chess players might consider queen takes a4, winning the bishop as a tempo, but there is queen takes d4, attacking the bishop and the rook simultaneously. You will face many problems. So, going back to the reason, we discovered that capturing the bishop would be a very bad choice. Therefore, after the bishop moves back, we have a pawn capture and bishop to b5 finally on the board, and this is chess. Dragon Chess falls into my trap. He actually has 4 squares to go, and each one is trapped and poisonous. The queen is completely trapped in this case. First of all, if the queen goes to f6, there is knight to e4, attacking these pieces. As soon as the queen moves to b6, there is bishop takes check, and the queen and king will be left vulnerable. So, going back to the reason, we discovered that playing queen to f6 would be a very bad choice. That's the reason why if the queen goes to d6, there is knight to e4, attacking these pieces as well, and as soon as the queen moves, there is bishop to f4, attacking the queen. After the queen reaches a5, I can capture the c5 bishop, and the pawn cannot move because it is pinned. So, going back to the reason, another alternative move black can play is queen to a5, but hold on, there is queen to e2 check, checking the black king. If the king moves, there is queen to e5, attacking the bishop and the rook simultaneously. If black dares to consider knight to e3, then I can play knight to c4, attacking the queen and knight at the same time. As soon as the queen moves back, all the exchanges will occur, and I will consider d4, attacking the bishop. Eventually, I will capture the pawn. Attacking the bishop. A few moves later, the king will be left vulnerable, and in this position, I will play a brilliant sacrifice. Can you guess what brilliant sacrifice I will play? The brilliant move I will consider is rook takes a7. That is a brilliant move because, after capturing and recapturing, followed by some checks, queen d5 followed by rook to a7, the king has to hide. A few moves later, followed by bishop to e2, we reach checkmate, and the position will be completely over. So, going back to the original discovery, the queen is left vulnerable, she has no squares to go, every move is a trap. After the queen moves to b6, there is bishop takes d7, that actually happened in the game. I eventually won the queen early in the game. You can see that I am attacking the king, the queen moves to e5 because it is attacking the rook. A few moves later, my knight wants to attack the black king very badly. A few moves later, bishop to g5 is played in the game, and you can see that the king is paralyzed by all my pieces, he has nothing to do, and a slow death is coming. A few moves later, we have some pawn exchanges, g4 is coming. A few moves later, bishop to d2 attacks the rook. Rook exchanges occur in the game, knight to e4 happens in the game, attacking the bishop and knight simultaneously. A few moves later, we have some checks. Bishop to b4 and, after some piece exchanges, you can see how the queen is fighting against two minor pieces. My king is just moving forward in the game. A few moves later, we are manipulating our pieces, trying to execute some pawn exchanges, pushing forward all the pawns, and finally promoting into a new queen. Finally, I checkmated Dragon Chess. So, I hope you enjoyed the game very much. If so, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Wishing you all the best. By the way, take care and see you soon.